So welcome to part 2 of this series of building a Bowsider coach in 16mm narrow gauge scale. We're going to start the build with, if you like, the skeleton where all the rest gets attached to, and that is the main floor of the coach and the various compartment partitions and end pieces. And what I like to do is mark each of the partitions and marry them to the correct place on the floor. So as I hope you can see, I've put on the upper floor the class as a reminder to myself. So it's 3 3 1 1 3, and the last one there is 3. And for each of the partitions, they've all been numbered. This is number 2, for example, and that corresponds to a number 2 on the partition. So if you close up of partition number 4, for example, there you go. So they're going to line up with each other, so I know exactly which way around which partition goes on the floor. Okay, once we've sorted out which partition actually goes there, what we're going to do is dry fit the partition onto the floor. Now the instructions state that the pieces have been cut in such a way that they're a tight fit, because you know this part of the structure of the kit forms the backbone of the carriage, and you want this to be as stiff as possible. So we're going to just try with the end piece, see if it fits, and this one fits okay. That's fine, so that's no problem. And then we'll crack on with the second one, and I want to go through all of them. You see this one is very tight. It's very, very tight. So what I'm going to do is just sand a little bit of the tab away, just a small amount, with 240 grade sanding paper until it just about fits. So I'll just sand this a little bit, just a tab. Try it again. Yeah, okay, now it fits fine. That's great. So what I'll be doing, I'll go along all of them and do exactly the same to make sure that they're all a tight fit, and then we'll come back to the next stage, and I'll see you once I've done that. Okay, I've finished fettling the compartment walls, so I'll just put them in before we go any further. Okay, so obviously the end compartments, they go on there, but they won't really stay upright by themselves, but we'll give it a go. No, 7 won't, but that's all right. Oh yes, it will. There we go. Okay, I've got the floor at an angle to try and show you something here. If you look at this one, this is one of the compartment sides, and I hope that you can see that the lower half actually bends inwards. That's a trait of these coaches. That's why they're called Bowsiders, because the lower half bows inwards. But the floor is actually flat, the piece of wood here. So the next stage is actually to sand a bit of the edge of the floor, so it's got a contour, so that the bow effect, the bending effect, the curve actually continues through to the floor. So I'm going to be using a grade 100 sandpaper for that, and it's along the whole length. Of course, the trick is to try and get it even, the profile, modifying the profile, getting an edge on it, and try not to get any warping. The side panel of the coach is actually going to be glued to those elements of the frame. So let's have a crack on with that. So I'm just going to be doing this with hand. Don't know whether you can see that, but we've got a bit of a slant on it there, and that's really all it needs. And I'm looking down the line and it looks okay. Let me see if I can show you that. Okay, so I'll crack on with the other side and then we'll come back to you. So I hope you can see that on that edge in the sort of center of your screen, how it's angled in. So that's that you need to do that on both sides of the long edge of the floor. All right, I've just put the original coach on the table. I want to just point out this particular bit to you, and perhaps you can just see on the third class coach where that compartment's got the hole in it, that particular section, you'll see that the wood is stained there. What I want to do is, before actually gluing the compartment sections to the floor, I'm actually going to stain the upper half as shown in the completed kit, so I don't have to do that later when it's all put together. So here we've got the wood stain, and it's an acrylic wood stain. It's titled Mahogany. For these third class bits, it's really just around that opening that needs to be stained. And you can see I'm putting lots on, and that's fine. I'm actually going to be doing it, staining it twice. Okay, so what I then do, get another bit of paper, kitchen roll, and adjust the excess just wipe the excess off. Turn it over, other side. Okay, we'll hang this out to dry and we'll crack on with the next. Okay, wipe the excess off. There we are. So I'll keep on going, do them all, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, so that's the first coat of stainer on those partitions. So what I'll be doing off camera is, once this is dry, a light sanding over the stain section with 400 grade sandpaper, and then a second coat of stain, and then after that I will be giving them a layer of acrylic gloss varnish. So while those compartment partitions are drying, you can do some preparation work for the side panels of the coach. These side panels, each side comprises two bits. We've got the main panel, which is just under 1mm thick ply, and then on each of the panels there's a fret piece, very well created, that will sandwich on the top once everything's been done. So then you get a relief side. Having built one of these coaches already, I'm going to do some preparation in advance that I didn't do with the first coach. What I'll do is I'll put up on the screen a photo of Bowsider number 20 in this configuration, and I'd like you to look at the doors, or rather the door windows, and you'll see there's a sort of light wood coloured element around the door window. And if you look on the first coach that I made, you'll see a similar element has been depicted around the door windows on the model coach. So what I'm going to do on the side of the panel that faces outwards is around each of the openings for the door, I'm going to stain that wood. Okay, let's get started then. This wood stain is not the same as the other one. It's a lighter stain and it's labelled teak, and this is most certainly going to need 2 coats at least. Okay, it's one done. Set that set aside to dry, and then we'll crack on with the next one. Once it's had its second coat and dried off, then I'll put some varnish on it, and then I'll come back and show you them when they're done.